Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. NEPA calls press briefing to discuss the outcome of Wisynco NEPA case. St. Mary police investigate fatal shooting and attempted suicide. And later in sports, world champion Sherika Jackson may run one event at the World Championships. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. Up first this afternoon, the police are investigating a fatal shooting and attempted suicide in Beecham Hill District, St. Mary. TVJ News understands that about 10:30 p.m. Wednesday, a constable assigned to the St. Andrew North Police Division allegedly used his Glock service pistol to fatally shoot his common-law spouse before inflicting a gunshot wound to his own head. The incident occurred in the Richmond police area in St. Mary. The community is reacting.
Call Maya. Come everybody here. Jesus Christ, Maya love me world without end. Jesus Christ, me can't bear it. Me can't bear it. Ask the community. Ask the community, oh man, as Maya me.
The constable is said to be in stable condition at a hospital. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, is defending its position in the pollution case against distribution and manufacturing firm Wisynco Group Limited, which was dismissed earlier this week. NEPA called a press briefing today. Our reporter Amoy Ariot was there.
We're here at NEPA's head office along Caledonia Avenue in Kingston, where the agency called a press briefing to clarify the details of the collapsed Wisynco pollution case, which surrounds a 2023 fish kill in the Rio Cobre. Now, as we heard earlier this week, the office of the DPP dismissed the case, stating that NEPA didn't provide sufficient scientific evidence. Now, as an example, the DPP said no samples were taken from the specific area in the river where the broken pipe was located. And of course, this sample would have helped to determine whether the substance coming from the pipe would have fell within the definition of trade effluent, industrial waste, sewage, or of course, polluting matter. Now, CEO of NEPA, Leonard Francis, sought to clarify why exactly NEPA didn't provide this sample. Now, he said some areas of the river, particularly where the broken pipe was located, was almost completely inaccessible. And he mentioned that it would have been dangerous for officers to, try to access this area. He said the dam was very deep. The pipe itself was suspended on poles that were very high. And Mr. Francis said the drop to the riverbed was very steep. Now, the agency insists, however, that they feel they did in fact have a case, and they believe that the evidence they provided is at the threshold for criminal prosecution. He said they conducted 3 samples, they followed international procedures, they served the necessary instruments, and they took the necessary court action. NEPA says, however, that they do support and respect the decision from the office of the DPP. And of course, I'll have more details coming out of this press conference this evening in Primetime News. Reporting for TVJ, I'm Amoy Harriet.
Thanks, Amoy. Now, Chief Executive Officer of Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, Dr. Theresa Rodriguez Moody, has added her voice to the Wisynco NEPA case. It comes after the matter was thrown out in court after the prosecution concluded it did not have enough evidence to link the manufacturing and distribution company to the release of fluids in the Rio Cobre in July 2023. Dr. Rodriguez Moody is questioning the handling of the case.
Why did we wait until this press briefing or this press release to come out and the DPP to basically drop the case before NEPA decides to come out and clarify these things? Wasn't this discussion held with the DPP? Why is this happening in such a public manner? Because then it looks like he said, she said, this is what we did, but you're saying otherwise. So there are questions, and so far they haven't been answered, except that, water quality samples were collected. But what the DPP is saying is that water quality samples at the particular point to be able to tie what they saw gushing from the pipeline to what happened in the river was not collected.
She stressed the importance of following proper procedures in carrying out regulatory enforcement.
You understand that the pipeline is supposed to have trade effluent according to their permits. Okay, you see it gushing, you see dead fish. So just you looking at it, you can assume that this is the cause of the dead fish. However, this is not something that will stand up in court. You do have to make that link. So it is important to find a way to connect what you see happening with this pipeline with what is happening in the river.
To other news, regional manager at the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Jermaine Jones, is urging the business community in Spanish Town to change the narrative of how they view the garbage situation in the township. Speaking at the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting on Wednesday, Mr. Jermaine highlighted how the business community can take advantage of the economic opportunities from waste.
Our waste, we produce approximately 1.5 million tons of waste on an annual basis. And from that, about 67% is organic, 16.8% is plastics. Now, there are several opportunities to be derived from just the organics and the plastics. I think metal and glass and so on makes up the additional. So, speaking to the members would have been about how we can encourage opportunities, encourage policy direction on a national basis.
He is also reiterating calls for citizens to properly dispose of their garbage.
It costs us a lot more when we have to send 2 trucks to do what 1 truck could have done, right? It costs us a lot more to manage that waste at the disposal site. So the recycling initiatives and the for plastics and composting is actually twofold. It saves us money at the NSWMA/MPM, and it also saves the taxpayers money, and it also puts money into the hands of persons that are willing to go into that sort of business.
Senior Parish Judge for Manchester, Michelle Salmon, has expressed appreciation for the work done by Justices of the Peace who work as lay magistrates in the courts. Speaking at the 32nd Annual General Meeting of the Manchester chapter of the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica recently, the senior parish judge expressed an interest in meeting with JPs to hear the challenges they face in the discharge of their duties in the courts.
With everything there is growth to come, there's continuous work to happen. And toward that end, I would like to engage you in a session. I call them sector meetings, to engage you to have a one-on-one session with you all as lay magistrates, to get an understanding as to what it is, how you feel in the position in terms of your rostering, you're representing, coming to court and dealing with the matters, and where you need some kind of capacity building or enhancement. I am there to assist you with that. But I want to tell you that the journey...
She added that she wants to enhance capacity building of the lay magistrates, especially in light of recent announcement by the Justice Ministry that the caseload of judges would soon be reduced, requiring JPs to work harder to ensure the timely delivery of justice.
I know those matters that go before the lay magistrates courts, if they are increased, I know right now that the cohort of persons who have been rostered to come to court have the capacity to do so. But where you do not have it, I am pledging my cooperation to help you to understand the system as we try to deliver this timely delivery of justice.
6 taxi operators were recognized and awarded on Tuesday in Morant Bay, St. Thomas for their professionalism and commitment to high standards in the transport sector. President of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, Edgerton Newman, presented the award during a visit to the town. The initiative is part of Road Safety Awareness Month.
We're happy to find some good drivers obeying the road code, obeying the transport authority regulations, their uniform, their badge, the car is clean, taking passengers around. So we're happy that we could present them a number of awards for which they were happy for.
Mr. Newman also pointed to a need for improved taxi parking facilities in the area, describing the current conditions as unacceptable.
Untidiness of the drains in the so-called street where they call a bus park. It cannot work. And we as operators, along with the St. Thomas operators, along with the other associations, are willing to come together and put in bus sheds if those powers that be assist us somewhere, pathway.
In a move aimed at easing the long-standing issue of parking congestion in downtown Kingston, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, and the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, have signed a memorandum of understanding to formalize plans for a new street parking initiative. The agreement will allow for designated parking along a section of Gold Street, helping to reduce pressure on the limited parking available in the busy commercial district.
Ladies and gentlemen, the roles and responsibilities, functions and areas of emphasis when it comes on to the partnership that we are about to sign into and how we maintain and also replicate that with other private sector partners, our public sector partners throughout Kingston and St. Andrew. This, I would say, is a historic move.
The initiative is part of a broader strategy to better manage traffic flow and parking availability in the busy commercial hub. JSC Managing Director Dr. Marlene Street Forrest expressed confidence that the project will bring significant relief to businesses and commuters who face daily challenges finding parking in the area.
Must be revitalized. And one way to revitalize downtown is to ensure that there's access. We normally talk about access to capital, but we are going to talk about access to parking.
Yes.
It's important that we do that. And I know our responsibilities under that MOU, and that is to beautify and keep that area in a way that not only the citizens down here will know that we are in accord with our civic responsibility, but everyone else coming.
West Kingston is being hailed as the commercial hub of Jamaica. That's according to local government minister and member of parliament for the area, Desmond McKenzie. He made the remarks on Tuesday during the Phase 1 open day and ribbon cutting ceremony for the Garmex Free Zone redevelopment and expansion project. He noted that the range of businesses operating in the area continues to fuel economic growth and job creations for many Jamaicans.
Social stage will definitely have an impact on the lives of the people in the community and adjoining areas. The significant expansion of employment opportunities, and it has widened the door to prosperity that this government is providing to our citizens. It is also a special day of pride for me as the Member of Parliament, as this is to confirm yet another vital bit of infrastructure in the constituency of West Kingston.
Minister McKenzie also calls Garmex Free Zone a lasting legacy driving economic growth.
It truly came to light in the decades of the 1980s under the leadership of the former Member of Parliament for the constituency and Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Edward Siaga. With the creation of Garmex Academy for Apparel Skills at this very complex, and later the Factories Corporation in 1987, the stage was well set for Garmex Free Zone to have certified skilled workers to carry out the industrial requirements of the international commercial partners.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Bank of Jamaica says outstanding certificates of deposit now amount to $125 billion. This after institutional investors such as pension funds, securities dealers and insurance companies and members of the general public submitted 334 bids valued at $53 billion for the bank's latest offer. The bank, however, said it accepted only 328 bids for the $52 billion it wanted at a rate of 5.9% per year. The lowest bid was 5% per year for $17.5 million, while the highest bid was 7% for $425 million. Further afield, Trump media stock has plunged by nearly half since the election, and Trump media shares have lost even more, 56%, since President Donald Trump took office. That badly trails the S&P 500's 5% gain over that time span. Trump media is still valued at about $5 billion, even though its share price is deeply in the red this year. And Trump media is now taking action in an effort to revive the share price. It has pushed into cryptocurrencies and promised to buy back up to $400 million of its own shares. The CEO of Trump Media, Devin Nunes, said in a statement this week that the buyback amounts to a vote of confidence in the company, its stock, and strategic plans. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
And now the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Trinidadian authorities have detained 16 Venezuelan nationals, including 2 babies. The police say they received intelligence that a vessel with the Venezuelans aboard was approaching the shore off South Trinidad Beach. Surveillance officers say they saw several people, mostly women and children, and 3 men as they ran towards the shoreline and into some bushes after they had been brought in by a small boat. Police said 16 people have been placed in holding cells while special arrangements are being made with immigration officials. On the international scene, 16 people died during nationwide anti-government protests in Kenya yesterday, most of them killed by police. Over 100 people have been admitted to hospital with varying issues. The protests coincide with the first anniversary of demonstrations opposing tax hikes that left 60 people dead and 20 others missing. It also follows last week's rallies that demanded answers for the unexplained death of a Kenyan blogger while in police custody. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Antonia Atkinson.
Thank you, Anthona. We now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.